Hi guys, so in this screencast I will be showing you how to build a model, build your controllers and run a migration file to our Postgres database that will help us create the tables we've created or we've specified in our models and our migration file. However, before we start, I would like to tell you to install Postgres on your local machine. Once you have that, I believe you should be able to have access to the PG admin, so you'll be able to see a dashboard just like XAMPP with Apache server and MySQL. So once you have this and you have Postgres installed locally on your machine, you'll be able to carry on with this tutorial. So as we can see, our route is working properly from where we stopped last time. Resful, these are home, these are landing page. Oh, my bad, I haven't started my server yet. So npm run dev. Okay. Okay, if you go back and refresh, voila, it's working. So the next thing for us to do on our code would be to create a model, which I will do by creating a folder first. Oh, that's the wrong place. Model, then create our controllers folder, and why is it creating at the wrong place? Controller, then we have our migration, then we have our config, don't forget that. So we have our models, we have our migration, we have our controller, we have our config. Okay, it should be models. So if we go back to our sequelize RC file, this one, realize the path is pointing to this directories here: models, then migrations, config. There's a config. Yeah, so that's what we're doing. So first thing first is to create a model. It will be our user model. But as usual, I will create a index file yet that will enable my exports. Then I'll create a users.js. So I would like to, the first thing I would like to do is encrypt my password in case user logs in, and I want it to be encrypted before it is stored into the database. That way it will protect users' details from even the eyes of the admin. So that just gives us an extra authentication, extra security measures. So the first thing I'll do is install and add ipcrypt. I'll go a long way. So while that one is in process, I'll just import it, ipcrypt from okay. So outside the cons, and name it the users model. It takes a function which will be sequelize, and the data types. So then we define our user, sequelize that, define. This is where we're creating our table now, of the format at which our table will take. The name of the table, let's call it users. Then we have a comma, then a description of the table, the columns and the likes. So the first thing is to have the ID, the type will be data type dot, let's go, this is a string, comma, primary key. Will it be a primary key? Yes, I want it to be a primary key. Then do you want it to have a unique value? Yes, we do. Then do you want to allow none? That means they want a null value to be created. Just false. What about our default value of the data type dot? Okay, now I want my ID to be created once a user is created, like automatically created, and I want to use this thing called the UUID. So in order for me to use this, in order for me to create a UUID once a user is created, I have to change my data type here to UUID, and this one will be UUID v. Let me use v4. So what this does right here is help you create a default value once a user is created. I'll show you what I mean once we initialize our app and we create a user. I'll show you the UUID there. However, you should note that the data type UUID is only specific to the Postgres database. If you're using MySQL, it will be binary. It will be string first, string dot binary. Now for you to use the UUID data type. However, because I'm using Postgres, I can easily say UUID here. So the next thing we want is we want the email of the user, or the type, want it to be a string, of course, unique, true, allow no, false. So I need a username, type, string, allow no, be false, it should be unique, it should be true. Okay, so the next one will be the password. So we want our password type to be a string. Allow null. First, unique. First, so we can have same password. We can just remove it. We don't need to set it. It should be false by default. So maybe it's the comma here. So the next one, what do I want to use? We can add an extra parameter here, which will be the hooks. This hooks works in form of what you would want your database to do, maybe before it creates a user, or maybe after it creates a user. So the first thing will be to say before create of the users, for create user, user dot hash password. So what I'm doing right here, I haven't defined the hash password yet. I will do that, but what I'm doing is that before you create a user, I want you to hash the password, which is going to hash using this bcrypt that I installed. So what I'm going to do right now is to make an instance of the hash password, which will be here. You can say user dot prototype. No, how bad. Because the function hash password. So this bcrypt hash sync. Bcrypt has this function by default called hash sync. So I just selected a function, and the function takes two parameters, which is the password itself, this dot password, and I want it encrypted. That's Gensol sync actually. 9. And we can return the password. This dot password. Once that is done, we can return user. I think we're missing a certain column there. So once that is done, now we can now export default user model. There you go. So we've created our model called user, and once that is done, we have our ID, we have our email, we have our username, we have our password. And the next thing we did was to add a hook that before a user is created, make sure you hash the value of that password using the bcrypt. So that's what's done. After that, we expected default user model. So If you go to our index just JS, is where the O functionality will come in. The functionality of using sequelize with our database. So the first thing I'll do is import the .env from .env. Done. The next thing is import fs from fs. So you might be wondering where fs is coming from. These are just default packages that comes with Node, so you don't need to worry too much about that. So the next thing is to import the path from path. Same thing with path. Then import sequelize, of course, from sequelize. Then we have to import our config. We haven't done that yet. I'll show it to you soon. Config from the config. So what I'm doing right now is to configure my sequelize so it can read my models, it can read my migrations and everything, and work in and with Postgres database. So first thing of course is to connect to my env, the env file config, and I have a base path which we can set using the path dot base name dot base name is a function, model dot file name. So const env equals to process dot env dot node env. So you're setting the node environment here. We're setting the node environment here. We will update. I will update the env file to include a node environment. You can just go ahead and do that right away. So the env file will have a node environment, which I will set to that development. Okay. So in my example, so you know what to do. Node environment because just put development for here or your environment. Okay, that's good. So back to the index. So the next thing will be to set my config. Goes to db config. Then we put the environment into the config. We're selecting the environment from the config file. I'll show you my config file. You understand that's not a function, it's more of an array. db is what we'll be exporting at the end of the day. Curly braces, just an empty object. So sequelize goes to new sequelize. Okay, config URL, then everything else in config. Okay, so the first thing is to read our directory. So again underscore name and dot filter and filter file. Return return the file index with an index of so we're done with the index file for the models. So I would run quickly to the controller folder, to the config folder, and of course create my index again, then create a config file. Here we require that env. So right here we'll be exporting these models. Then in it we have the types of environment you want to create. You can have development, you can have test, you can have production. So since we're just more concerned about the development part for now, we have the development. Then here we have the URL. Then our URL will be process .env dot the name of the file, the name of the URL in our .env file. So we can call it db database db URL. The next one will be a dialect, which is Postgres, and the operators aliases will be false. So that being said, then our index, of course, we just export default. From config. Thank you. What am I doing? Okay, there you go. So that's been done. The next thing for us is to create our migrations, so we can migrate and see how well our table is being created on our database.